I never raised my voice. I never cheated. I never stopped caring. Still, somehow, I was never enough for her. My name is Ethan, and this is a part of my life I never talked about. In the beginning, she admired me. She said I was kind, responsible, reliable. But love slowly turned into expectations, and those expectations turned into disappointment. Suddenly, every little thing I did was wrong. If I stayed quiet, she'd say, "You're so boring." If I tried to make a joke, it was, "You're just so childish." If I worked late, she'd accuse me, "You care more about your work than you care about me." But if I stayed home, it was, "Don't you have any ambition?" It felt like there was no winning, no right answer. I remembered this one evening. I came home after a really long day at work. I was exhausted, but I wanted to do something nice, so I decided to cook dinner for us. She took one single bite, then looked at me and said, "Honestly, even this isn't good. Why do you even try?" I just laughed softly, not because it was funny, but because I was just too tired to argue. I didn't want another fight. She saw that laugh, and her face hardened. "So you can't even take a little criticism like a man." That line, ... That one line stayed with me. It burrowed into my mind. I started doubting myself, questioning everything. My confidence, which was once my strength, just faded away. I stopped sharing my thoughts, my feelings, my day, because every single time I tried to open up, she would shut me down with things like, "You're being too sensitive," or "Stop acting so weak." She'd say, "Other men don't complain like this." And so, I learned something dangerous. I learned how to suffer quietly, to just swallow the pain and pretend everything was fine. The breaking point finally came one night. We were lying in bed, both facing opposite sides, the silence between us heavier than any argument we'd ever had. I finally gathered all the courage I had left and whispered into the darkness, "I just ... I don't feel appreciated anymore." She didn't even turn around. Her voice was cold when she replied, "Well, that sounds like your problem, not mine." That's intense. Those 7 words ended something inside me. It wasn't the marriage that died in that moment, but the hope that things could ever get better. The very next morning, I stood in front of the mirror, and I didn't recognize the person staring back at me. His eyes were tired. His shoulders were slumped. I realized I was losing myself completely, just trying to keep someone else happy who was never going to be. So, I packed a small bag. When she saw me by the door, she asked casually, not even looking up from her phone, "Where are you going?" I took a deep breath and said calmly, "I'm going to remember who I was before I was made to feel useless." She actually laughed and said, "You won't last a week without me." And maybe she was right. But I knew that even one single day of peace was better than a lifetime of being made to feel small. Sometimes men don't leave because they've stopped loving. They leave because staying costs them their self-respect, and no amount of love is worth that price. If you or someone you know is struggling, please remember that your feelings are valid. Help is available, and you don't have to go through it alone. Thank you for listening.